Because the Justice Department is investigating marijuana-related businesses over their COVID relief loans, the industry source says, you guys. That's right.
Oh.
The Justice Department is investigating marijuana-related businesses that allegedly took coronavirus relief loans in violation of federal rules, with third-party actors leveraging a whistleblower policy that allows them to take a portion of settlement money if they report on the cannabis companies. Multiple sources in the cannabis legal space confirmed the trend with Marijuana Moment this week, though they declined to identify active clients involved in the litigation. This evidentially involves both direct cannabis businesses that are involved in the production or sale of marijuana, as well as ancillary companies that are not plant touching. One public case that DOJ disclosed last month involved a holding company for the Bob Marley namesake cannabis company, Marley Natural, a company that specializes in facilitating. Oh wait, sorry, I don't think this. That sentence is supposed to go there, so I apologize. A company that specializes in facilitating whistleblower complaints for allegedly Paycheck Protection Program, PPP, violations, Sideslove, successfully reported that the cannabis business Docklight brands to the DOJ for receiving the funds in contravention of Federal Small Business Administration policy prohibiting companies from taking the loans if they work with the cannabis companies indirectly and service the industry, in quotes. Because federal law prohibits the distribution and sale of marijuana, financial transactions involving a marijuana-related business would generally involve funds derived from illegal activity, SBA said back in 2020. In another quote, therefore, businesses that derive revenue from marijuana-related activities or that support the end use of marijuana may be ineligible for SBA financial assistance. Sources who requested anonymity say there are up to 100 active cases, with the Justice Department sending letters notifying businesses they are directly or indirectly associated with the state legal marijuana industry, and they are being reviewed for possible violations under the False Claims Act, the FCA. Under DOJ policy, individuals who report on PPP loan violations under FCA may be entitled to 15% of the proceeds from any settlement agreement. In the Sideslove Docklight case, that was submitted to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Washington. That meant Sideslove will receive $148,416 of the settlement funds, DOJ said in a press release last month. In quotes, those seeking vital assistance from SBA's pandemic response programs must comply with the requirements, SBA OIG's Western Region Special Agent in Charge, Weston King, said, aiding that the settlement sends a strong message of accountability. But the situation is more widespread. Industry insiders and legal experts familiar with the trend say, and notably, it is affecting companies that are not specifically involved in the production or distribution of cannabis itself. Any business that took PPP loans that works with the state legal marijuana market, accountants, consultants, could be impacted. To be clear, it doesn't seem the DOJ is proactively investigating these cases. A source in one federal prosecutor's office told Marijuana Moment that they are aware that marijuana-related businesses seem to be uniquely targeted by third-party realtors who could be using public databases to identify loan recipients who are adjacently involved in the cannabis sectors in order to receive that 15% payout. And the Docklight case is a rare example of a FCA settlement related to marijuana that's been made public, and sources say this trend is relatively new and legal documents are generally sealed until the cases are finalized, which could take months or even years. But as the Justice Department ramps up its efforts to reclaim fraudulent PPP loan distributions, the cannabis industry is apparently in the sights of companies hoping to cash in on possible settlement agreements they initiate. In quotes, we looked at a number of different theories about how to litigate under the SBA rules. Jason Marcus, a partner at Brackner and Marcus LLC that represented Sideslove, told Marijuana Moment, and one of the theories that came pretty early. What early was marijuana companies, so Docklight was really kind of our test case. In quotes, we did our research, he said. We found where the SBA said this is not allowed. Whether you're a direct or indirect marijuana-related business, you're not supposed to be receiving PPP funds. Marcus said that his sense of the scope of potential liability among ancillary cannabis businesses is pretty huge, frankly, and there are some more obvious examples of federal violations, such as cannabis dispensaries receiving the funds, but the SBA policy itself is broad enough to cover virtually anyone who received the loans and who derive some income from cannabis businesses. He advised that any direct or indirect cannabis business that may be impacted to self-report to the DOJ to potentially avoid multiplied penalties. But the blood is in the water, and Marcus suspects his firm's successful litigation and DOJ's public disclosure of the case could be influencing other PPP data miners to follow suit. They say, in quotes, it's unusual to have outside parties report businesses over alleged FCA violations, he said. Not unheard of, but it's unusual. The difference here is that there are public databases of PPP loan recipients available to potential litigants interested in assisting DOJ and possibly winning a 15% settlement cut. And cannabis-adjacent businesses are relatively low-hanging fruit, and the exact number of cannabis businesses that DOJ is investigating or prosecuting is unclear, but numerous sources confirmed at least one detail, that it is a recent surge in letters from federal prosecutors to cannabis-related businesses about active investigations related to the PPP loans. And Aaron Smith, executive director of the NCIA, told Marijuana Moment he's heard of a handful of ancillary business members that have been contracted by the DOJ about their PPP loan, and these businesses do not handle cannabis directly nor violate any state or federal laws and should absolutely have access to the Paycheck Protection Program just as any other legal business, he said. And Hillary Bricken, a partner at the firm Hirsch and Blackwell, told Marijuana Moment that this could set off a domino effect of reporting ancillary companies to the feds, where the majority or all of the revenue is derived from the cannabis industry. She added that it is another technical nightmare caused by the Schedule I status of cannabis under the Controlled Substances Act, and the Justice Department and offices of the individual U.S. attorneys did not respond to multiple requests for comment. And as Bricken noted, the issue at hand underscores yet another policy complication resulting from the federal-state marijuana disconnect. And at some time, the Drug Enforcement Administration under the DOJ is exploring whether to reschedule. Yeah, we all know that, you guys. So, man, what do you think about this? They're coming. They're coming for all the weed companies, you guys, apparently. If you got a PPP loan, they may be coming after you. And then they're telling you to just snitch on yourself ahead of time, so then that way they don't have to have someone else snitch on you. What do you think about this?
It's horrible. I mean, they're just literally asking everybody to turn in their neighbors.
Right?
It's the worst possible tactic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I love the theory that there is whistleblower protection, but they are literally creating a financial structure for snitching such that it has spawned a business. Because when I go on the internet and look for SideSolve is a company that is solely focused on PPE fraud. Mm-hmm. And so this company is in existence to benefit from those finder's fees. And I think we're balancing fiscal accountability for government funded programs where ultimately that is taxpayer money versus this notion that, first of all, why should our industry be singled out? Are there technicalities that make it harder for our industry versus others? That's not entirely equitable. But let's not forget, PPE money got spent into the economy. PPP was an economic stimulus program, just like the TARP program. And so the companies that received that money typically spent it with ancillary companies, suppliers, consultants. When money is circulated in the economy widely, there tends to be a lot of beneficiaries of those structures. And so I don't know why they're quoting Bricken. I know she likes to talk, and I don't know why they're quoting Aaron of NCIA, because this doesn't seem to be a systemic industry issue. What it seems like is an ambulance chasing law firm has another company that is in business to report across the medical device industry or medical industry, and that because cannabis was deemed essential, it's getting pulled into a broader structure where this company is out there trying to earn money. And look, I want to be very, very conservative with the way in which taxpayer funds are used. But when the government is handing out money, like Oprah Winfrey hands out keys for cars at a special taping of her show, the idea is that some milk is going to fall on the barnyard floor. There will always be some percentage of funds or bad apples, bad actors who didn't use money in the way it was intended. But if the net effect of that program was to stabilize or prop up the economy, I'm not mad at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find this. I agree with you. This is kind of an ambulance chasing type of firm, but I wonder how hard they're going to go. And I'm really surprised that they're going to collect like just under $150,000 from this one case. I mean that's a pretty penny. Like, that's not money to just, you know what I'm saying, just chum around about.
I would rather eat out of a dumpster than make my money that way.
That's fair. It's a very fair point. I know a lot of people that feel that exact same way too. I'm not mad at that, but you know, $150,000 is a lot of money to a lot of people, and a lot of people are starving and doing pretty bad right now. So I only imagine that this thing is going to get worse, and there's going to get more steam, and it's going to bog down a lot of court systems and whatnot going forward, because there are a lot of people that are pretty cutthroat in this space.